I do not want to live in another country. I want to live in another Brazil.
Olá pessoal, estou aqui em Grand Rapids. Desde 2012 eu participo da Acton University, que é um evento do Acton Institute, e pelo segundo ano consecutivo falei aqui com os participantes sobre desenvolvimento econômico internacional, focando na América Latina. Muito bom poder compartilhar um pouco daquilo que estou fazendo no Brasil, daquilo que a gente quer para a América Latina, aquilo que a gente quer para o mundo, né? Valorização do empreendedorismo, valorização de nações livres, a liberdade da democracia. Dá uma olhada um pouquinho aí no que foi dito e muito obrigado por acompanhar. Não quero viver em outro país, eu quero viver em outro Brasil.
I like also to make the argument always is the failure of our presidential systems. We have a presidential system that combines three aspects or three branches of what we call the system of government. If you look at the separation of powers, for instance, in the Netherlands, where we have the parliamentary systems, and it's a centralized state much more than what we see in countries like the United States, but where the subsidiarity principle is more present. We have a head of state, which is, in the case of the Netherlands, the king, but could be someone elected by the popular vote. If you look at Portugal, for instance, the president is elected by the popular vote, and he is the head of state. He's the symbol of the country as a whole, so he doesn't have a political side whatsoever, right? Then you have the head of government, which is elected by the parliament as a prime minister, and he has a political side, of course, and his party won the election. If did not win the majority of the seats, he made a coalition right afterwards in order to build a government, and had a coalition representing the values, the ideological values that would govern the country for a given period of years. And then you have an independent public administration. It is a public administration which is not subject to the political wills of a president or a prime minister. And what we see in Latin America is a mixture of these three powers: the head of state, head of government, and the public administration. More or less like I'm going to show you in the next picture of our former president Dilma Rousseff. You see the same person. She is the head of state, she's the head of government, and she is responsible for the public administration, which has only the federal level. She could appoint more than 20,000 people to work for her, not only on her staff, but in all areas, in all kinds of governments. And the dependency on the state. We have high clientelism and patronage throughout the region. This is not only the case for Brazil, of course, it's the case of all Latin America. If you don't know what clientelism and patronage is, clientelism is to use the public resources you have to serve the public or to do the common good in order to help someone specifically who is in very personal need, and we have this all the time in Brazil. I returned to Brazil, and my motto at the time when I was campaigning, and now again in 2018 when I campaigned for the National Congress, was I do not want to live in another country, I want to live in another Brazil. And I think that this is more or less what we all believe when we go abroad. Of course, we like other countries. We like to come here to see the experience of other countries who are developed, trying to reduce the gap that I was telling you in the beginning between our countries and the developed countries. But in the end, we do not want to live abroad. We want to change our own situation, our own country, and make our countries better than they are now. And I think this is our responsibility, and this is why I am here at Acton, and I am sure that this is why each one of you also are here at Acton. So thank you very much, and I'm open to questions.